It's time to predict the SPFL table, and at number 12 straight away it's Ross County. I think this is probably going to be a popular prediction as they have lost Simon Murray. I do rate players like Brophy, and if Brophy had a good injury record, I think they maybe really got enough points to get in at 11th or 10th, but it's just too injury prone. I've seen them finishing rock bottom even after a good League Cup group stage going into the season. And at number 11, it's the team I usually have rock bottom. It's St Johnstone. I just don't see them finishing any higher, and in fact they could finish low. I don't think their squad's any better than Ross County. I just rate, just for easy, I'll just call him Swedish Ben. I think Craig Levine's also just good enough to scrape enough points basically, and yeah, that's why I see them finishing at number 11. And then at 10th, I have the champions of the championship. It's Dundee United. There's question marks with Tony Watt's going to stay. However, some of the players they've brought in are very much getting a bit of hype from the United fans, so we'll have to wait and see if they do better in this position. However, 10th is where I felt comfortable putting them. And at 9th, I might actually get some complaints for who I've put in at 9th, just because they've done so well, and I have previously quite openly praised the manager. It's St Mirren. I just think, even though they've got players who will get enough goals like Mark O'Hara from deep and a couple of attackers, etc., I just think it's maybe a lesser season, and a lot of that's based on the goalkeeper, to be honest. You know, his most appearances he's made is 19 in one season across all competitions, and a lot of times only 1 to 3 appearances, so for me I think it's a 9th place finish for the Saints. And at 8th, in the 8th place to 6th, these three can go in any order in my opinion, and 8th place for me is Dundee FC. Even though they've brought in a great player like a Simon Murray who had an exceptional season last year, I don't see him being at the same level, still being at a good level goal wise, and I do see them get 8th place. Into 7th, again as I was mentioning, these can go in any order. It's Motherwell and Aishes. Fine facts, Motherwell have replaced Theo Bear, and just to make it easy, because I don't know how to say this boy's last name, I'll wait until I hear on commentary, and that is Mate. We're just going to call him Mate because it's in his last name. He got 25 games last season, or in the season still going in Australia. 25 games, 25 starts, 17 goals, 2 assists. You know, that's good in any league, and that should be enough to replace at least half of what Theo Bear done. And I think, you know, still got good players like Lennon Miller who they've currently kept. And yeah, I think that's a decent enough squad, what they've got over there. And at 6, it's a team that usually disappoints their fan base, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finish a lot lower than this. It's Hibs. Is this the season Dylan Ventus shows up, and the reason why they paid a decent fee for him? Is this the season that Dylan Levitt shows up of more that United form? Will Johan put enough moments and consistency together? There's a few questions. Obviously David Gray's a new manager. He's been at Hibs managing previously as an assistant and caretaker. It'll be interesting to see how he does over the course of a full campaign. And now into the top 5, or into the European spots now. And at 5th, it's the team that finished 4th last season, currently in the Europa League qualifiers, got an alright result, and it's Kelly. Kelly are building a good squad. I have read through and I was thinking maybe I'd put them 4th again, but I just think the team I've put them 4th has to finish 4th. I just feel like any worse, even under a new manager, is bad. However, come on, good players they've brought in. I do rate McCrory as much as he came in from Rangers. I do think it's a good sign, apparently not too big a fee, so looks like a decent goalkeeper, and of course they have kept most of the good players from last season, like Armstrong, etc., and very much hard workers in attack, and Bruce Anderson I think is a good signing. If he plays enough minutes, he is a good enough finisher in front of goal. So yeah, very good squad they are putting together over at Kelly. Into the top 4, it's Aberdeen for me. I think Aberdeen, even under this new manager, need to be aiming for at least a top 5 finish, and if they keep Miovski, I think they should get 4th. However, there is question marks over Duke, etc. So maybe I am putting them too high. I wouldn't be shocked if they finish lower. I just think after such a bad season last season for the Aberdeen fans, I think this season has to be a lot better. I'm just unsure if it will be. But even right now saying it, I am thinking maybe I'd put them 5th. I'm going to stick with 4th though, because this is sort of the list I agreed with the most. And then into the top 3, I think 3rd place is kinda a bit obvious. It's a team that's maybe just not got the budget to challenge the top 2, but I think they're almost in a league of their own when it comes to the rest of the teams. It's Hearts. They've been very good at the free agency. Jan Danda I think is an exceptional player in this league, and now that he's playing in an even better team than a Ross County, which is what I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. And then obviously you got Blair Spittle they brought in, they've kept Shankland, and it look like they are going to keep Shankland just to put a $5 million price tag on him. So yeah, they're a very good squad, and I think they've got some underrated players like Odag and Vargas. So yeah, I do see Hearts doing that, and I think Hearts are building enough of a decent squad on the Naismith that if one of the top 2 were to have a really bad season, that Hearts could then maybe cause an upset and get a second if one of the top two were to have a disastrous season. So now in to the top two, the controversial part of the video. In second, it is Rangers. I think that's not a shock if you looked at my profile pic in the channel. I do have Rangers finishing second. There are some question marks over that squad, like a few others, like Todd Cantwell doesn't seem like he's going to be there, as he's put in a transfer request. There's question marks over Tavernier. Goldson's about to leave and he's taking a pay cut and he's leaving for pennies. And there's a couple other players potentially leaving. They have brought Cerny in, and Cerny looks like a decent player. He's had one exceptional season and a bunch of just kind of mid-seasons. So if they can get anything close to that one really good season they had at 20, then they've got a really good loan player for the year. Jefty, who they've brought in to replace Barisic, apparently has had a pretty disastrous pre-season, and he's not the only one. Tavernier and Butland have made so many errors. I've seen so many clips shared by Rangers fans across my Twitter/X feed, and that means the champions yet again. It's Celtic under Brendan Rodgers yet again as champions. They look to win the title yet again, and I predict it happening. I think even with Celtic making so little amount of signings, the squad and the tactics shown in the preseason, obviously the results don't really matter. Obviously it's great confidence boosters to say you beat City, you beat DC United, you beat Chelsea, you beat this, that, the other. And it's more the tactics showing. Obviously that 4-1 against Chelsea is a massive win against a really strong Chelsea team. Obviously it's just missing Cucurella and Cole Palmer. Whoever out with that, it's probably one of the strongest 11s. And they very much got schooled. They did not look anywhere near a Premier League team. If you were to ask a stranger who had the Premier League money, they'll never guess in the team in blue. It's always the team in green and white that day. As the tactics were brilliant, and even in the Man City game, we really very much showed a new way of pressing that we've sort of failed to do consistently last season. Brendan very much mentioned it quite a lot, the press and setting up your attack. And interesting, Atati is now coming a bit deeper, which for me is such a big Atati fan. I do quite like Atati being a bit more free in attack. However, in this pre-season, he has showed another side to his game as this more deeper midfielder, and he's very much still able to show his technicality and his brilliant skills he's got, and allowing Mattarelli to be a bit more free. Nico on the wing and the right wing, I will say I was quite a big fan of him last season. He really did only show up in 1/3, maybe just over 1/3 of the games he played last season. However, I think he's in for a real big season now that he's not got any injury issues or health concerns. I feel like he's in for quite a big season for Celtic. Luis Palma's very much showing a lot more running in this pre-season. I don't know if that's on Brendan's worked on May one-to-one with him, because I was very much impressed by his pressing at times. Obviously he can still improve his pressing, but he was doing a lot harder work in the running and the pressing and the defending. Good to see, and I do see Celtic being champions yet again, as you know. Thanks for watching, and on the boys.